So that kind of takes care of our next question too. How would you assess real estate component that's outside your expertise? Yeah, just brilliant. Bernie.
So you get this valuation. Is this something you can go to a bank or private sources of capital and say, this is a valuation of the business and they're looking for money?
Yep.
Can they leverage
abs-
that?
Absolutely. That's one of the very common uses of our reports is the bank wants to offer the financing, but a large component of the value of the business is in the goodwill, right? This is the non-identifiable intangible asset that's recognized on the balance sheet after the transaction, but before the transaction, it well exceeds the value of the tangible assets. And the bank then uses our reports as a component of their due diligence to understand the risk of the financing. If
So
I
how
could go
long?
back, please, Fred, to the question about the real estate owned by the business. That's a very interesting question. I just want to bring forward the two components why a business, if it has the reason to own the real estate and the financial capability to do so, there's two components I think that didn't get brought out, and that is there's a tax advantage for the business to put the real estate in a separate entity. And then there is the mitigation for the shareholders. So, in one case, in the taxation case, having the real estate owned by a separate entity allows the business then to pay rent to the real estate company owned by the same shareholder. And that creates reduced income, a taxable income in the operating company. And so they pay less tax. And then the rental payments then become income on the real estate co, and they can write off their mortgage against that revenue. So it's tax efficient on both sides. And then secondly, there is the risk to the operating company that, there does sometimes happen that bad things happen and they might get sued. And if they do, only the operating entity would be damaged by the lawsuit. And the plaintiffs are unable to, or with difficulty, pierce the corporate veil to get the crown jewels, which is the real estate.
Thank you for bringing that up. That's very, very important.